People of God said amen.
Amen.
I feel a little bit like David tonight when he said, I will bless the Lord at all times.
Yeah.
His praise shall continue to be in my mouth.
Yeah.
My soul shall make its boast in the Lord, and the humble shall hear thereof and be glad.
Yeah. All right now.
Oh, magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. You might ask the question on the night, why do we exalt the Lord? But David reminded us in Psalm 27, he says, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Whom shall I be afraid? Y'all have to excuse me. There was a record on 35 that had my name on it. When the wicked, even mine enemies, came to eat up my flesh. They be against me. My heart shall not fear, though war may rise against me. And this will I be confident. One thing I have desired of the Lord, that which I seek after. I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, and to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. This is my favorite part. In my time of trouble, he shall guide me, and his pavilion, in the secret place of his tabernacle, he shall hide me. Y'all, after the week I've had, I had to remind myself of who God is, and now's a good time as any to give my God praise. To the angel of this house, Pastor Hunter, other ministers and attendants, to the honoree of the hour, Miss Linda Mathis, to the master of ceremony, my Uncle Russell, to Miss Mathis's family, and all of you, my brothers and sisters in Christ. What a privilege it is to be able to stand before you all this evening. For there are not enough words I could say to describe the impact that Miss Mathis has had on the Waco community. And I consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to stand on behalf of the musicians on today. Growing up as a young boy in the St. Luke Church, I had many fond memories of Miss Linda Mathis. My brother and I would follow my mom to choir rehearsal, seemed like every week. We'd sit in the back of the church and we would look at Miss Linda play the organ with her left hand, pointing her finger up with the right hand. She was directing the choir on what notes they needed to hit. But one thing I remember is Miss Linda was always particular about what notes she wanted the choir to hit. And I can remember sometimes if the choir didn't sing the notes that she was pointing to, there would be some yelling that went on in the rehearsals. I even seem to recall a few hymn books that got sung across the sanctuary. But better yet, still one of my favorite memories of Miss Linda, it was a Sunday morning at the St. Luke Church. And we were at St. Luke, it was a Sunday morning service. The choir started singing a song. And right in the middle of the song, Miss Linda stops the song in the middle. She looks out at the congregation and she says, you know the choir ain't singing this right, so we're going to start it over. And she proceeded to start the song over, and the choir would go on to complete it. We were younger, we thought it was funny. Me and my brother were talking about it all the time. Did you see what Miss Linda did? Did you hear what she said to the choir members? But it was only as I got older that I realized that Miss Linda's approach to music and worship was one of perfection. She did not believe in giving God junk. She definitely didn't believe in giving God anything, and she always approached things in her own way, making sure she gave God the best praise. There's a story in Matthew 26 that talks about a woman who brings an alabaster jar. She breaks the jar on Jesus' head. Jesus was getting prepared for his burial. So he was in the city of Bethany at the house of Simon the leper. And this lady with the alabaster jar, she brings the jar, she breaks it, and she anoints Jesus' head. She lets the oil flow down to his feet. Upon seeing this, the disciples asked the question, they said, why this waste? Why do you waste this perfume? We could have sold it to the higher, sold it for a lot of money, and then we could have given that money to the poor. Jesus goes on to answer, and he says, don't bother this woman. For what she's done a beautiful thing to me. The poor will be with you always, but I will not be with you always. All right. He goes on to say that this woman, what she's done, it will forever be remembered as a story and a beautiful testament for what she's done to me. The reason why I say that story on the day is, Miss Linda, I think of you as the woman. You brought Sunday after Sunday, you brought an alabaster jar filled with your gifts and talents. And you gave it back to Jesus. You let the anointing flow from your head to the crowns of your feet. And you set the atmosphere for worship Sunday after Sunday. And I think we need to stand and give her praise. Yes. As I take my seat, I'm reminded of a situation I faced about 2 months ago. I moved into a townhome about 2 months ago, and after a week or so, I got everything situated the way I wanted it to be. After about a week or so, I was in my townhome and I started to hear this beeping noise. It kept beeping. And every couple of seconds, it would beep very, very loudly. So, simply put, I started making haste, and I said, well, this is the smoke detectors. I need to change out the batteries. So I go upstairs, and I check all the smoke detectors. They're still beeping, or they're not beeping. I come downstairs, and those smoke detectors aren't beeping either. So finally, I realized that the beeping noise was actually coming from the keypad of my security system. So after realizing that the keypad was actually what was keeping up the beeping noise, I said, well, I can take this off the wall and change the batteries. It's easy for me to take this off the wall, unscrew the mounting bracket, and just change the batteries. But much to my dismay, I couldn't get the keypad off the wall. I tried to twist it. I tried to turn it. I tried to unscrew it. I even took some pliers and tried to pull it off the wall. I was unsuccessful at doing that. So a couple of days later, my cousin comes over to the house. He hears the same beeping noise, and he says, Ryan, I can fix this. The beeping noise you're hearing, it's actually coming from the security system, but if we find the fuse box, I can disconnect the fuse box. He goes upstairs, he finds the fuse box in my closet, he unplugs the fuse, which he thinks actually is going to kill the beeping noise, but he was unsuccessful at doing so. A couple of weeks later, my mom and my aunt, they came to visit me. And my aunt heard the beeping noise, and she said, what is this beeping noise I keep hearing? I told her, I said, it's coming from the keypad. She goes to the keypad, she tries to unscrew it, she tries to pull it off the wall, but she was unsuccessful in doing so. So, needless to say, about 3 weeks ago, I had two people that are very close to me. They came to my house, and we were on our way home from church about to go to dinner. One of the friends hears the beeping noise, and she says, I can fix this. I can fix this beeping noise. And what she didn't know is for about a month and a half, I've been trying to get this beeping noise to stop. I go upstairs knowing how this story is going to end, but when I'm on my way downstairs, I realized the beeping noise had stopped. I asked her, I said, what did you do? Did you take the keypad off the wall, or did you have to pry it loose? She said, no, I didn't do any of that. All I simply did was open the panel and I pressed the bypass button. And when I pressed the bypass button, that rerouted the signal and shut the security system off. You might ask the question on the day and say, why are you telling us this story? But Miss Linda, I want you to know for many, many years, there have been some people who come to church and they've got their own beeping noises going on in their life. But what you did when you sat at the organ is you pressed the bypass button. And you pressed the bypass button, you rerouted the sound. There's some people who came and had a prayer like that and hit a rough patch. But Miss Linda, you pressed the bypass button when you simply played Is Your All on the Altar. There are some people who came with heavy burdens, and when you press the bypass button, when you play Lay Aside Every Weight so we can run with patience these race, there are some people who had given up all hope, they'd given up all faith, but when you sat at the organ, you pressed the bypass button and you made Great Is Thy Faithfulness. There are some people, Miss Linda, who came, they were grieving the loss of a loved one, but you pressed the bypass button when you played When Peace Like a River attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll. Whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. There are some people, Miss Linda, who came to church that had experienced some pain, they had some hurts in their heart, but it wasn't until you sat at the organ, you pressed the bypass button, you said something within that holdeth the reins, something within that banishes pain, something within I cannot explain, and all I know is there's something within. So I simply stopped by to encourage you on today, Miss Linda. Keep pressing the bypass button. Don't get weary well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. God bless and God keep you.